my name's Amanda Zanette. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be continuing with what I call Chapter 4, the players, but I'm going to be zoning in on the management employees today. So when I train the management employees, I begin with the planner checkers. All 4 of these jobs have paperwork involved with them. The planner checkers have the least. So my thinking is I always get out the easiest jobs so that the more students are starting their jobs right away because they are excited. So planner checkers, what I do is I ask them to choose a location in the classroom where at the end of the day when we're done our planners, their clients will walk up to them and then they sign their planners at that location. They love being able to choose an alternate place in the classroom. Another thing that I get the students to do is to create a signature. A lot of our creative students really love coming up with a new signature, but all that I ask is they are consistent with that signature when they're signing their clients' planners. So on a sheet that they get, and the head planner checker will hand these out at the end of planner time, they take their sheet and they will have their clients line up and they are going to be looking for 2 things. They're going to be looking for, has their guardian signed their planner the night before? Because the whole point is for the parents to understand what's going on in the classroom and for them to be able to get involved if they would like. Secondly, what you're looking for is, has the student copied the planner, the homework off the board in their planner? And if they haven't, then the planner checker's job is to say, look, you're missing a few things, you've got to add it, so you need to go back and fill that in. So that's the role of the planner checker. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the police officers. Police officers, they get a clipboard, which is very exciting for a lot of them. And on that clipboard, they have a few sheets of paper, one for each of their clients. And each sheet has a location for them to record the fines that their clients receive throughout the term and bonuses. So what I like to do when I start training the police officers is that I like to review the list of bonuses and fines, which we've done as a class, but I really zone in on what that looks like because they want to know, when can I give it? Why should I be giving it? It's more in depth with the police officers, but also they want to know who's giving what. So for example, if there is a public disturbance fine, which is a really big one, sometimes close to suspension, I deal with those. So there is a list at the bottom of the bonuses and fine sheet that explains who gives out which fines. Other than that, you really want to talk to your police officers about your intention behind this list. It is not to make anyone feel bad or to feel small or feel they're not good enough. It's a list of consequences there for them to know, A, those are the boundaries that I can't cross, and if I do, this is my consequence. So it's very important that the police officers understand that they should first be giving warnings and treating their clients like they want their own police officer to treat them, because every police officer also has their own police officer. So stressing how to interact with their clients. You don't want them going up and going, oh, you've got a fine, and yelling across the room. It's usually a private conversation. A lot of the time, if a student is getting a fine, they're already aware anyway, so maybe their homework wasn't handed in, things like that. But definitely really pushing the warnings in the first few weeks of the game. So first 5 weeks is introducing the game. At this point, you're going to want to add another few weeks where they're just working with their clients and giving a lot of reminders to their clients, getting to learn how to interact with their clients in a way that they don't trigger them. And then we start pushing the fines more at the end of term 1. But by term 2, we are very firm on, okay, no, these are fines, unless it's someone. So for example, I've had students who have never had a planner fine in their life, and they'll come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, I completely left my planner at school. I couldn't get it signed. And I go, don't worry about it. And I let their planner checker know we're not going to give them a fine, because it's not about handing out fines. It's about pushing the students to become accountable, but more aware of their actions and helping them to grow. So those are the first 2 management employees. We're going to move into deputy mayors next. So deputy mayors actually have a lot to do. So one of the ones they love doing is they run the city council meetings. It's not the teacher running the city council meetings. It's basically a class meeting run in a different format. So they each have their own binder, which they get very excited about. I will be talking about the city council meetings in a separate video, but they are in charge of running the meetings. They take the summaries of all the management employees and convert it into a pay stub so that they can give a paycheck to each of their students. They also are there for a few other things. So for example, if students are away, a deputy mayor will look at their list of clients and go ask someone to fill in for them. So deputy mayors are always keeping an eye on who's away and helping out, so it takes that load off the teacher so the teacher can focus more on teaching. Another thing that the deputy mayors do is they will help the police officers with mediation if an officer requires help. So that's the role of the deputy mayors. The one where I talk about the deputy mayors making sure students are doing their job, we have something called a post. So when I worked at McDonald's, as a manager, you needed to find one location in the entire restaurant where you could see every single employee working, including your customers. So I created that role for the deputy mayors to be able to choose a position, which is usually a corner of the room with their back to the wall, and they observe all of their employees during jobs and planner time and make sure that they are completing their job. So they have a piece of paper where they will record if they're not, and there's a list they follow, like giving warnings, and the mayor can get involved if they're not doing their job. That's part of the training for deputy mayors. Lastly, you have your bank clerks. Bank clerks, you don't need to train them until the last out of everyone because they don't have anything to do until you have your first payday. 2 weeks in, you're going to have your first payday. That's when you can train them because then they have something to work with when you're training them. So that's my favorite time to train them, is when they actually have their clients' bank books with them. Bank clerks are there to check their clients' work and to write down a summary of their pay into their own bank clerk book to make sure their number matches their clients. If it does not match their clients, they use silent reading time to go up to the client and say, oh, can I please meet with you, and make sure they tell the teacher. We practice this all in role playing. But what they do is they're going to come up and to their client and say, this is how I got my number. How did you get yours? And once they agree on their number, then they finalize the total. Your head bank clerk is going to be the person that has a total of everyone's amounts, and that goes to the teacher at the end of every 2 weeks once the pay has been calculated. So those are the management employees. Each of them do end up with some sort of summary. So planner checkers will summarize who's getting bonuses, who's getting fines. That gets transferred to the police officer sheet, and they're going to add it to their list of bonuses and fines. That gets transferred to the deputy mayors. That's where the deputy mayors will take all of those and transfer it to a pay stub. And that happens every 2 weeks. So thank you for listening. Those are the management employees. I hope you have fun with that. Thank you.